here. And then once we started wearing ties, like, the makeup people just did it for me. For 7 years. And now I got zip ties. And people are like, I can't believe he's not a tie. I'm like, people have tied it for me forever. And I appreciate it. I will never learn. I will never learn. Okay, we're back in game.
For the cool story.
Cool story, bro. Yeah, cool story, Bob, etc. So, uh-oh. Of the 3 heroes played by SC, Genji and Phoenix are 2 of them this season. The Tracer is the 3rd. And very early Alexstrasza pick coming through here.
Maiev.
What does Ballistix do now? Is it the Tyrael Tracer? Are they that desperate? Are they like, well, we got to make this work somehow? Like, I don't know what the answer is here. Hanzo is a possibility. You know, he's not horrible on this map, but it's not one of his best maps.
You can
like,
feel so much from SC's face.
Yeah, you really can. Like, this is his most dire moment. That's why Tempest banned the Phoenix here. It was like, well, if they don't ban Genji, we get Genji, so that's sick. We've taken the Maiev. What are you going to play?
Basically, Tempest already said and asked the question to Ballistix, saying, guys, like, are you trying to contest the Shrine fight? We already have Alex and Maiev. We have the crazy CC available post 10. Even before that with the Dragon Queen.
He picks Hanzo.
Okay.
And is it correct? No.
I
but
think
it's only
one of the better ones.
It's all he can do, I think, at this moment. Like, you know what hero SC needs to be playing? Is Falstad. Because then you can have a mage composition that has a Falstad. You can have extra sustainability with the Malfurion. You can run the Muradin. It all makes sense. You can burst down Alexstrasza, who's going to be very fine with facing off against a Hanzo. I agree with the Sergeant Hammer ban here, but we're seeing a lot of these mysterious Sergeant Hammer bans, and sometimes they make like perfect sense. It's because of the burst, right? You have the arrow that comes out, then you blow somebody up, but like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think that Ballistix was going down that path. Still a safe ban, and it's good for clearing the defenders, obviously, because
it's also a good snipe onto SD, just limiting what he can do. SD can still go towards that mage path, which is a lot more likely now.
Yeah, that's why I would have liked to see the Falstad. Well, Ballistix is like at a loss right now. Every pick takes down to 0. The Anub'arak ban comes through. It's a scary combo to face. Sonya, ETC. So, ETC probably going to be, in this case, the Mosh Pit, but Stage Dive is still very viable here to dive into where Hanzo's trying to poke from. Not going to be used as a global, but just for that initiation. It works well with the Warden's Cage, which has been a little bit less meta recently. So we're looking at SCE now. Does he pull out the Jaina here? You know, Burst would be great against the limited healing output of Alexstrasza. Takes a long time. It's not very bursty. It's more AoE.
But can you really have the ones without the escapes against Maiev and lots of damage, especially the ETC power slide? And once you're caught in there with the face melt, if you're tossed on to the other side of other side from your teammates, then you're basically gone. So that's something that you have to think about before making those picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough for her to actually break through that tanky of a front line. Blaze will be the solo laner. Falstad. Okay, I like this in terms of what this can offer them on the map. But they do kind of put all their eggs into the auto attacker basket. There's not a lot of burst with this. There's combo potential with the arrow into, you know, Blaze going for his charge. Falstad pressing his boomerang. Q there, activating it. And there is, you know, the potential to kind of combo that together with the arrow. Like, we've seen this a lot in Korea now that Falstad's so meta. Greymane.
Hello.
He's a return. I was going to mention him earlier, but kind of slipped my mind because he is, with his cocktail buff, like pretty good at controlling the shrines.
Greymane? I was expecting Dami to be on the Greymane and maybe Sonya because Good has been the solo laner for the team for such a long time.
Yeah, and remember that swap used to occur with Lockdown back in Tempest when Dami would, back in 2016 Tempest, when Dami would play the Grey Main and Lockdown would actually switch over to the Sonya. So it's not something that's unusual to this squad. It's in fact been a staple of how they operated and what they won a tournament with, quite literally, that 2016 Summer Championship. The Grey Main pick is great. It works well with the strong front line like this. We'll see what build he ends up going with, because it is good and not Dami. I expect it's probably going to be a more poke-oriented build with the cocktails and the recent buff to that. So, let's see. Meanwhile, Alex Ross's chin very visible in her hero portrait. Feels bad for, you know, when you're a Ballistix fan, because the hero pool issue in the meta just does not suit them. This happens through all esports, right? Sometimes the meta changes and what you were famous for and what you were the best in the world at is no longer relevant. You have to adapt or you become obsolete.
But I do think this is one of the better drafts that they had for the past 2 weeks. They actually got the comfort picks. Can't make it work, but look at the draft from Tempest. It just looks so much better. Fitting for the map and for the shrine fight. Oh man, I don't... Ballistix, they can contest on the outside of the shrine, but they can't really go in. Once they go in, they will just blow up.
And they don't have great poke. Like, Hanzo has good range, but it's auto attacks in his Q, right? And he does go for the scatter arrow at level 1. Obviously his 4 will probably be a little bit different going to the explosive arrow instead. But you can auto attack with decent damage at high range, but you don't have a way to burst or blow up minions. Like, look at everything that Tempest has. Whenever you see a bunch of low health defenders, you can whirlwind them, you can like wing buffet them, as Alex Ross or her E. You can slice them with Fan of Knives, and the cocktail is going to be weakening them and finishing them off and even stealing away. That's what cocktail is so great at, stealing those last hits. On Ballistix side, you've got Malfurion to steal. You've got maybe Scatter Arrow. It's like not very reliable. And that's it. Like, Falstad's Q when he blows it up, but he's probably not going to be in the Shrine anyways. He's probably trying to split soak. So Shrine control with the Alex and the fact they have Dragon Queen, like, there is no contest. Like, Tempest wins Shrines. If they get there first and then nobody dies, they should, in theory, be able to absolutely dominate each and every objective. So that Falstad pick needs to gain value. They need to use it to get other things done on the map.
Not just to counter the cage that's going to come out from a plus 10 with the Mighty Gust. That can't be the only way why they actually picked up Falstad. They got to have the global rotations, make actually a Falstad worth picking value here for Ballistix. Unless they really come to their own advantage with the global, they're going to have a hard time because they will likely to, as you said, as we were just continuously saying this, they will lose the Shrine fight. Might as well just push the other lane and try to get better soak off of that in the early game.
And that's another issue too, G-Clef, is that they don't have good camp control. Like, Sonya's on the other side, Greymane's on their side. Tempest has massive camp control advantage. They can clear way faster. Even with Hanzo here, this is not Hanzo's greatest camp map. You know, that gives them some advantages, or I don't want to say advantages, but it gives them something. You know, it's not the worst they could have ever had. But Tempest has all these other tools. Ooh, nice grab there.
But we will see. We will see, because they do have all those comfort heroes as the not really the one to play the Falstad as too much compared to the old ones like Nacho did. But he has been playing that Falstad quite a lot ever since Phase 1, the end Phase 1 especially, at the MSP as well. Maybe we'll just have one of the best Falstad games, who knows?
But look at this. This is what I wanted to see from Ballistix. Winning this Shrine, are you kidding me? It is never going to happen in this situation. It will never happen pre-10. So they just grab a Q stack here. They're pushing top with the camp. They had better timed because Blaze cleared it. And Tempest actually committed all 5 to the Shrine initially. They get soaked mid, so for a brief moment, they haven't experienced it. Unfortunately for them, this is an Arcane Punisher, and this wall is down. So this is going to do some serious damage to the fort. But they should be able to save this fort. And if they can do that, then I think they're still in great shape here in this early game. Like, the Punisher has to kill the second cannon tower, and then there's a huge minion wave here, 4-man rotation. They're fine. The fort's going to just get slightly bruised. This Punisher didn't do as much for Tempest as they would have liked.
It's also because the walls were already open. Couldn't really damage it with the Punisher just jumping over it. They already got that EXP before. But they had better soak, which means with the buildings down Ballistic, they were soaking better, at least a little bit more with the false set on top. Because they were also losing the camp as well. They got the late start.
Yeah, so it worked out for them in the end. Because they cleared the camp with Tempest, you know, and then their camp was like better timed for the objective. So they turned it, you know, kind of an unfortunate situation into a better one, like a decent one. And what for Ballistix, like they can contest shrines post 10 where they have that gust, when they have the arrow, and they have the ability to team fight. And it's almost certainly going to be Tranquility coming out from Malfurion. That's when, so if they can keep the early game even, like that's a pretty big win for them.
Falls that joins the fight 5v4. I am getting some chunk damage, but this goes away.
Yeah, it looks like Hooligan already used his Q. I may have missed that, but he definitely didn't have it, or else that could have been a bad situation for Greymane. Meanwhile, Dami split pushing, getting more value than Falstad is, unfortunately, in this situation. But again, as long as Ballistix doesn't fall too far behind, I'm going to feel good about the 3-10. What happens after that, though, you know, that's where we're going to see if this composition works. Good again, the target here. There's the follow-up stun into the root. Very well played. Good, just barely going to survive. Really good plays here, actually, from Tempest to make that happen. So,
just needed a little bit more damage as Sonya Falstad just 1v1ing on top. And there was some nice CCs, but you could see without Hanzo just poking it directly, you will always be lacking the damage even if you have the CC.
It's very, very true. Crowd control itself is not enough. You need follow-up damage. So 10 will be reached around the exact same time. Tempest with like the slightest, tiniest lead, as you can see with that the last 3 minutes there. And this is going to be just totally fine. As suddenly no audio. Okay. Just a quiet moment.
Hey, by the way, we have no music. That was why.
Yeah, well, I know that image, or not that image, that message that appeared earlier said that our second observer disconnected, so I don't know what happened there, but perhaps our backup observer.
Control M, come on.
Control M, baby. Get in there. You know, there's actually a common issue in the StarCraft days where people didn't have sound, and it was like just press Control S to happen all the time. Ooh, Haymaker committed. They want this kill. Bosch though.
A big mistake and a great ETC just locking them all up in there, and they are in trouble.
The bunker totally irrelevant here. In fact, it's just going to delay the inevitable. Jung dies. He will respawn 20 seconds before his bunker comes back up. And this is right as the Shrine activates, as they have a top push with Sonya. But I just wanted to give a moment of silence for remembering Ballistix as a top-tier team that could take games off. Anybody could be first place in the standings. When I look at the Greymane pick versus the Hanzo pick, even though Greymane has just recently been buffed and like is only slightly starting to come back in the meta, it's seen in Europe a lot. Like, let's just put that out there. I mean, it does get used in Europe a lot, but in Korea it's almost never picked. I look at it, I think this is a much better pick for this battleground than the Hanzo pick, and it's a hero that SC can play well. It's just surprising to see such reliance on these comfort picks, and like, it's a 4D-0 Shrine in the top lane. Falstad split soaking, but it's not going to gain too much for them. I like the positioning of Blaze right now and Hooligan. So Jung on Hooligan rotating up. They're trying to maybe flank. It's not going to happen though with this Punisher.
Sorry for being all the negatives, but even after the
tragic.
Haymaker, it does. Even after that Haymaker, which was for a surprise pick, for them to actually get a pick onto Alexstrasza, but cleansing flame right at. They were expecting that. They should have expected that and really have hard CC, make sure everything goes in, even the Dragon's Arrow and everything, maybe just having Hinterland or something from Falstead, even putting off some massive damage. Didn't really come through, but I think he's gonna regret having that Haymakers from now on.
Kind of like across all esports, I think there's a moment where a team that's legendary like starts to really struggle. And what happens when you struggle? Like that's when your true colors are shown, I think. And Ballistix unfortunately just has not been able to solve it yet. And it's, I think a lot of people are going to say like, oh, Ballistix is old news, or what happened to Ballistix, like why are they bad now? They're not bad now, but it's a meta that doesn't suit their playstyle, and they have to adapt. Like,
and they're actually the team that adapted the first when it came to late 2016 and 2017, when they were L5 when just Swarm. They were picking about the Anubra picks.
I mean, look at this just blatant desperation with the Haymaker. They may get the pick on the Dami. Not actually quite able to do it. But they're just rotating us 4. The false tech comes in late. It's a failed gank attempt. He's missing some minions experience in mid. You can see a barrel rolls back over there to get in there as quickly as he can. They're just grasping at something they just can't quite reach, it feels, in this game. There's always the potential they come back, but just with how dominant this has looked for Tempest and with the comp they have, it seems very unlikely at this stage. They went for the Haymaker as well, which makes it tougher to use the comp they have that's sustain-based in terms of team fighting. Like,
remember when they brought in the Lunara Tracer Warhead? That was one of the most amazing games of Ballistix. And that was against back then MVP Black, which they actually did so well on.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly moments to remember, you know, in recent times where they've looked inspirational and innovative. But this Haymaker is not innovation, it's desperation. And it has not netted them a single kill. It'll be 16 against them now, as the next shrine will be spawning mid. We've already lost a huge chunk of the bot for mid will be the next target.
I think it's about time for us to see something else from Ballistix. And they should actually line up, if they line everything up with some isolations from the Gust, they have lots of potentials, but the teamfight moments, the timing, has been just falling better for Tempest so far. But after 16, I think they still do have a chance. Try and fight is going to be very hard, but they can just range out and try to pick up those numbers.
Yeah, they definitely can. And I feel like if they had Avatar, they could even do more. But now, I mean, Hooligan, he's caught here, he's isolated. They're going to have this rotation down to block the members of Ballistix from getting onto the shrine. If they get up to 20, they Dragon Queen, and it belongs to them.
They're coming into contest. They're almost 16.
Look at Hooligan's positioning. He's trying to take the long way around. But Hyde is just like, he's not fooled. He's not surprised. Here's the Dragon Queen committed. They get about 20, and then just commit the Dragon Queen and say, like, this is ours. Nice try. Please go back to lane and soak.
We just finished Simple Geometry. 12 minutes. This shows that how passive they were actually in the fight. They're actually diving in, pushing out. The enemies of Tempest are diving in with the CCs. Cleansing Flame does not catch Hooligan so far.
It's going to do a lot of damage here. The bunker is securing them a spot on this shrine, but it's not going to be enough to actually stop this.
24 to 20. Still a big number gap here.
Yep. Huge heal coming in on the Dami. Lockdowns in the front here, setting up this fight. He goes low. Go for the throat, does not reset, but here's a mosh. Interrupted, but they will not get the shrine. 3 Punishers to go, 2 and 1. The Haymaker, again, feels like desperation. Dami very likely will escape with his life here because Hooligan is chasing. Looks for the double stun.
Trying to get Hyde, but
could have gotten Dami instead, I think. That shows some communication issues. They won the fight in the most technical sense, but they lost the objective because the composition allows you to Dragon Queen, Cleansing Flame, comes out of Cleansing Flame in the last seconds of Dragon Queen, so it's this long extended period where you have not only basically an overpowered hero for this objective, but one that's for a long period of time buffed and for a similar period of time untargetable. So You know, Ballistix tried what they could in that moment to win the fight, but there was some communication issues, and their comp just isn't designed to win the Shrine, unless they win the fight before it starts.
I actually liked how Ballistix pushed all of them out, pressuring them, lining up their heroics as well, waiting for them mosh pit, having the arrow right after to cancel them to gigantic CC. They have lockdown down this time, but they want to dive in. Moggy's caught.
He's in trouble. He has Ice Block though, something that maybe they did not consider. But look at that power slide from Sign. Hooligan is going to be the target here. Could not get into the bunker. And that's going to be a dead bunker. Mid push is nearly killing the mid fort. They can just rotate up here, clear this camp. And they have the Impaler camp from blue side to help push this, so very easy. Free fort. You rotate down to get a second one to further their experience lead, as well as this wave of about 10 minions.
That was hard for Ballistix because it's supposed to be on their side having a fight at that choke point. But do you really want to have that fight when there's lots of TC? Great control by Tempest. They will just have all the target getting all the tethered, power slide connecting with the mosh pit that was coming back soon. Really tough for Ballistix to actually make something happen there. So bunker did come down, but Muradin not really having that avatar. I think it's really not helping him so much.
I just feel like you can sense the lack of a real shot caller here for Ballistix, like a strong shot caller. It just doesn't feel like there is one. And, you know, again, that's been one of the weaknesses of the team for a long time. It's the switching between shot calling, Jungha, SDE, SC occasionally, you know, ordering the players. But at mid-season brawl, that was the one thing I noticed more than anything else. And I know I've said this many times, so sorry for repeating it. But especially in their matches against Tempo Storm, they were just simply silent for the majority of the match, which, you know, I don't think is related to personal issues within the team, but actually just because that's kind of their style. But when things get tough, you need someone who's able to make the right calls. And we saw several target selection mistakes in that two Shrines Ago fight, where Hooligan could have easily gotten the kill onto Hyde, but changed targets to try to get more value out of his Q. 20's around the corner now. Ballistix is just doing it. Look, this is, when you see this, you know a team is hoping for mistakes. And Tempest just isn't going to give it to him right now.
It's the top Shrine. It's going to spawn very soon. And Ballistix, when they have the poke, they can actually have open space to poke in pressure. But they can't really go all the way in because they might just not have any escapes. Post 20, ETC can just bolt in, have the great mosh pit just as a zoning tool. And that may just be enough to have some of the members being trapped down. I think the bunker placement has to be perfect, where it has to stay alive. And in that middle of time, Ballstead and Hanzo on the side has to be just poking out some great damage. So like the back line with the Sonya and Greymane, they have to be like very low HP.
Look at this from Ballistix too. They're just going to try to backdoor a fort to get 20. They're not willing to fight this Shrine in this comp. This right here that you see on your screen is like the equivalent of typing /FF. Like, this is basically them saying like, there's no way we can win a fight. Our comp can't contest. We don't have 20. Like, we are just going to let them do this. And not only letting them do it, look at the top lane. Like, look at this. Sonya is the fastest clear time basically in the game for the Shrine. And so they see everyone rotated bottom. And they get a free wall.
Ballstead is coming. And this may be the best chance. Sonya is quite away right now. Good. Gets called in the wind tunnel.
That fort gave him 20. This is their opportunity.
The damage onto Greymane. That's the kill. First kill. Sonya is also very low. So Cleansing Flame has to be dropped already. They do get the objective, but 2 kills. They are on to chase.
Okay, the Punisher will actually help them escape, as well as the wing buffet here coming out from Hyde. Punisher going to grab a stun onto SC, making it tough for him to actually continue to fight this. Dami drops his Ignore Pain. They are going to win this fight off of a very quick rotation using the globals. The Punisher just trying to be involved. Tommy whirlwinding away, gets caught there by the 20 stun actually. Goes in.
Slow from Oil as well. Sign is the only one left.
This is an opportunity for them to grab a keep. They need to shove it in now.
They will take the bottom or create a wave flow onto the other side because the top one is going to be vastly damaged.
If not killed. I mean, we're 18.5 minutes into the game. I don't think there's any way Sign can stop this, even with Greymane respawning. This should be...
They want to go core. They're calling for the core call right now.
They're posturing for it.
They are going for that. And Sign's waiting. Moshpit locked. Moshpit already on there. And the problem is that Dragon Queen is not coming back for 13 seconds.
No. Alright. Respawn's coming through. Sign gets a stun here. SD cannot die, or this isn't going to work. Gust with the wind tunnel yet again. Core's dropping below 90%.
Yeah, the bunker, massive damage. Willy Gun can just go into the bunker, gets blown up before 50%.
Good, gets the reset. He's trying to do that extra damage onto SDE. SDE is the target, but Jungha is doing too much alone. They're zoned out, but this should be the core.
With the CC, but Jungha still near 100%. Core's going down 5%.
And that's going to be it. Jungha tanky enough. All it took was one wipe in the late game. Look at SC's face, though. He takes